let the board come up with the questions, and so that's what this is going to be asked, and that's by Lori Adams.
Can you reverse the order of how you ask it?
Yeah. You want to start with Jay? Sure.
My question is to each of the candidates. Have you received any campaign donations from Chris Dorworth, his family members, associates, or agents? And if you have, would that in any way weaken your resolve to protect the entire rural boundary from any and all land use changes and or rezonings that are not already allowed by the county's comprehensive plan?
I had to field that question, and obviously, based on my last statement, understand why you want to reverse the order, so let me be clear. Yes, I've taken donations from Mr. Dorworth, his constituents, his people, and so forth. Anybody that knows me or my family in this community for my entire life knows my integrity, knows my honesty. Those who question it, well, I just don't know what to tell you. But the reality is this. I am not in favor of River Cross. I'm not in favor of doing anything with the rural boundary. I'm not in favor of changing the comp plan as it pertains to the rural boundary, nor the overlays that are currently in place, in the hammock, in Juliota, and out here. Now, that said, what I've learned, many of the Johnny-come-lately don't understand there are properties that are entitled, there are properties that were grandfathered in, that have. And so what happens so many times, us in the rural area, we see a development start coming out of the ground, it's like, oh my gosh, they've reached the rural boundary. No. They've had entitlements before the rural boundary was ever started. You can't take those away. So I want to be clear, I'm not in favor of changing anything in the rural boundary at all, not moving the line. Those who have certain property rights already vested, they're entitled to that. But I'm not in favor of giving them more rights or anybody else more rights, more development. Thank you.
So the short answer is yes. As a sitting mayor, I work with a lot of developers, and so I certainly took development money. And yes, Mr. Dorworth and some of his co-workers or family members donated to my campaign. I can tell you that over time, I built a relationship with a lot of developers based on the needs of my city. And so it was reasonable for me to ask a lot of them to support my campaign. It doesn't in any way change the second part of your question. It doesn't in any way change my position on River Cross or the boundary in any way, shape, or form. This is a tough situation because the nature of politics today is for all of the people that hear these things to automatically be like, oh, well, clearly then the fix is in, because it's really easy to be cynical. I can tell you that my parents raised us to believe two things, that there are two things that can't be taken from you, your name and your brain. That is how you treat people and the way people view you, and what you know and how you use what you know. And my parents said you should always take care to improve both. And so I think the people that are here tonight, that bothered to come tonight, care enough to express to you our true feelings on this particular project. And so again, I'm a clear no vote on the project, and I'm a clear no vote on moving the line.
So I made it quite clear from day one that I came out here over a year ago after filing to be a candidate and becoming a part of this association that I would not be in favor of moving it, changing anything into transitional zoning. And I didn't bring the beautiful prop that Joe did, but I did sign the same pledge.
It's not a prop, it's a commitment.
I signed the same pledge. Within that, I also was reached out to, and I'll one-up you, and I hope you guys get involved in this as well. A lady reached out to me named Barbara Thornton that asked, how I felt about the ethics pledge that she had passed on to the county commissioners, and that was brought up at the last meeting because I, as a candidate, knew that it was going to be important to participate with the county commission. So I've been doing that for the last 2.5 years. I also went to the last two budgets that they had, the 2 mid-year budget reviews. So when Barbara came to me and said, hey, look, I'm thinking about changing this that I proposed to the county commission, because what she wants to do is if somebody takes donations from a developer and they come in front of the board, they wanted them to abstain from voting, which is not legal. As an elected official, I couldn't abstain when I was the chairman of the Soil and Water Conservation District. So I know that, and I told her, I said, you can't do that. So she's proposing that whenever a vote comes up for, upzoning development, not when you're on planning and zoning, you can't, they can shovel it through, but when it comes to the BBOC, she would ask that, you would disclose per vote whether you received donations. And, you take that for what it's worth. I personally told her, I would have no problem because I'm not taking any developer or any special interest or any realtor or, I'm not going that road. I'm the grassroots candidate. I want the people's vote. I want to make sure that it comes from you and not any special interest. So I would one-up you. I'd find Barbara Thornton if I were you guys and start figuring out the ethics cleanup that she wants to do here in Seminole County because I support it wholeheartedly.
Okay with you guys? I'd like to yield to Katrina because my mom raised me ladies first. And then I'm not yielding my time, just my position, if that's okay.
Obviously, I'm not taking developer money. I doubt they will even offer it. I've been very vocal for a long time, and I've been in this fight for a long time. I've been trying to save the environment and the natural lands in Seminole County for a long time. The day of the Chuliota meeting, and when Dorworth had his lawyer lead the meeting to tell us what they planned on doing with our land, he texted me that morning, telling me that I could not set up a Bear Warriors tent to educate people on that. And to communicate a little bit back, I posted his text and what I responded. But the last line was, I will see you on the battlefield, sir. I am in this to, I can't cuss, kick his butt. He's not going to get away with what he's getting away with. I'm not intimidated, and he knows that. And, but on the flip side of that, we have to understand that there are landowners that have invested in land. They want to sell it to their kids and grandkids. So we can't be mad at those people for trying to make money. However, we can be mad at a developer for trying to change the land use change on that property. He has the opportunity to build within the land use codes that are existing now. He's trying to get that changed. That's what we're all mad about. There are only about 7 landowners in Seminole County that have enough property to be able to do what he's trying to do. What I propose, what I'm going to work on, I'm not even going to wait till I get elected to do this, but is to start a land buying program where we can offer the money to those property owners. They can make their money, and that land can be put in conservation easements. Volusia County is doing it right now. They're very, very successful at it. We could do it easily if the money for the land acquisition fund that we all voted for in 2014, if that hadn't been completely messed up.
We used to do it in 2002.
Huh?
We used to do it in 2002 through Seminole Natural Lands.
Exactly.
I was part of the committee that did it.
Thank you. You've done a lot of good stuff too, by the way. And I would love to work with you on getting the land buying program going. Another option would be to buy the developer rights from these 7 landowners. And to give you an example of that, the landowners really want to do the right thing, but they also want to make their money. My family, the Fours, I don't know if you heard the Fours, Jacobses, they used to own all that. It's really important, just real quick. They owned all the land where Live Oak is. I grew up, I learned how to drive in that pasture. It was a cow pasture a long time ago. And picked up cow manure for my granny to fertilize the plants. They sold that land, made a lot of money off of it. And now it's got all the houses. Well, they also have land in Osteen, hundreds and hundreds of acres in Osteen. And Volusia County is buying that land, so they're getting their money, but it's gonna be a conservation easement. There's an easy way to fix what's going on right now, and I plan to start working on that before the election. And if y'all wanna help me, I'd be more than happy to take your help on it.
Short answer, I don't take money from developers. I grew up in a small community. My high school class, 92 kids, 92. I was horrified when Lake Cal graduated my daughter. 2 days for the graduation, 1,700 kids. 1,700. We don't need that here. We actually, I understand why they want it. This is a beautiful area. We want it too. No, we just stand up to people and say, no, I'm not taking your money. No, I'm not going to do it, because then you become beholden. If you are not going to be beholden, give the money back.